Far across the vast South Pacific lies a remote island, tiny, isolated, and unlike any place on Earth. Hundreds of massive stone figures stand there in silence, their gaze fixed toward the horizon. No one truly knows why they were built or how they were moved. And among the ruins, a strange script carved into wood, a language no one has ever deciphered. This is not a fantasy. This is Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, as its people call it. For centuries, this island has been a mystery wrapped in stone. Who lived here? What did they believe in? And how did a small community in the middle of nowhere leave behind one of the most astonishing legacies in human history? In this video, we'll dive deep into the secrets of Easter Island, from lost engineering and celestial knowledge to collapse, survival, and the silent warning its statues might hold. The year was 1722. Dutch navigator Jacob Roggeveen was sailing across the Pacific when he sighted a strip of land not marked on any European chart. It was April 5th, Easter Sunday. And so he named it Easter Island. At first, it looked desolate, a lonely volcanic island in a vast blue ocean. But as his ship drew closer to shore, the crew saw something extraordinary. Towering figures, some nearly 10 meters tall, lined the coastline. Stone faces, carved with deep brows and long noses, stood in silent formation. Some even wore large cylindrical hats made from a different type of red stone. The Dutch had never seen anything like it. The statues, which would later be called Moai, seemed impossibly large for such a small, isolated island. Even more puzzling, the land was almost completely barren. No forests, no carts, no animals. And yet, someone had carved and raised these giants. Roggeveen described the scene in his journal with disbelief. He had no answers, only questions. This brief encounter would be the first recorded contact between Europeans and the people of Rapa Nui. But it was only the beginning, because the deeper mystery wasn't just how the statues stood, but how they came to be. Carved with solemn expressions and towering forms, the Moai dominate Rapa Nui's landscape, standing on sacred platforms called ahu, their backs to the ocean, facing inland toward the people. Some are modest in size, but others are colossal, up to 10 meters tall and weighing over 80 tons. They were carved not with metal, but with stone tools, using a unique volcanic rock called tuff, soft, compacted ash, found mainly at Rongorongo, the quarry where most Moai were born. There, many unfinished statues still lie in place, some only half-carved, frozen in time. And then there are the pukao, large red stone topknots made from a different, more porous volcanic stone called scoria. Their presence hints at status, ritual, and identity, but they also added weight, complexity, and symbolism. So how did the Rapa Nui move these towering sculptures? For years, theories ranged from timber sleds to alien assistance. But recent experiments have revealed something astonishing. Using only ropes and coordinated effort, Moai can be walked, rocked side to side, upright, across great distances. It matches what local legends said all along. The statues didn't just stand, they walked. In the 19th century, missionaries and explorers visiting Rapa Nui found something unexpected. Wooden tablets inscribed with strange symbols arranged in alternating directions. A unique writing pattern known as reverse baustrafidon. The script was named Rongorongo. To this day, no one has successfully deciphered it. Over 24 authentic tablets survive, held in museums around the world. What they contain, chants, genealogies, myths, remains a mystery. There is no Rosetta Stone, no translation guide, no confirmed link to spoken Rapa Nui. Some believe the symbols were mnemonic, used to aid memory and ritual recitation. Others argue Rongorongo is a true writing system, perhaps even developed independently, a rare feat in human history. A recent 2024 study supports this idea that Rongorongo may not have been borrowed or inspired from elsewhere, but born entirely on the island. If so, Rapa Nui joins the ranks of only a handful of cultures to independently invent writing, alongside Sumer, China, and the Maya. And yet, we still don't know what the tablets say. They remain silent messengers carved in wood, waiting to speak. For centuries, many doubted that the people of Rapa Nui, isolated, resource-limited, could have built the Moai. But archaeology tells a different story. The Rapa Nui were Polynesians, master seafarers who settled the island around the 12th century. They brought rich traditions, oral history, and deep reverence for ancestors. Each Moai was more than a statue. It was a link between the living and the dead, a spiritual anchor, a protector. They faced inland, not out to sea, watching over the people, not the world beyond. But by the time Europeans arrived, many Moai had been toppled. The forests were gone. It appeared on the surface as if the society had collapsed. For decades, the dominant theory was ecocide, that the Rapa Nui cut down all their trees, ruined their land, and caused their own downfall. But recent evidence tells a more hopeful and more human story. Deforestation began long after Moai building declined, and the population didn't plummet until after European contact, when disease, slavery, and colonization devastated the island. Far from careless, the Rapa Nui were ingenious. They developed rock gardens to protect crops. They adapted. They endured. They weren't destroyed by their traditions. They were undone by those who couldn't understand them. There's one more mystery, quieter but no less profound. The people of Rapa Nui knew the stars. Many Moai and ceremonial platforms align with the sun's movements. Solstices, equinoxes, and lunar phases. Petroglyphs may represent celestial cycles. Rituals likely followed a cosmic rhythm embedded into the landscape itself. How did an isolated island develop such precision? Because Rapa Nui was never truly disconnected. Its people came from a lineage of master navigators, Polynesians who sailed by starlight, ocean currents, and wind. Their astronomy wasn't abstract. It was survival, storytelling, faith, and perhaps prophecy. Why did statue carving stop so suddenly? Why were so many Moai left unfinished? What secrets did the Rongorongo tablets carry? And were they meant for us? We may never fully know, but perhaps that's the point. Some mysteries are meant to endure. Not to frustrate us, but to remind us of how much we've forgotten and how much ancient cultures still have to teach. Easter Island is small, just a sliver of volcanic earth surrounded by endless sea. And yet it holds a story as vast as any civilization, a people who carved meaning into stone, who watched the stars not for wonder, but for guidance, who built without metal and wrote without paper, and who left behind a message we're still learning how to hear. The Moai stand not just as relics, but as reminders that human greatness doesn't require power, that mystery isn't failure, it's memory, protected, and that legacy can rise from even the loneliest place on earth. If this journey made you pause, to wonder, to think, to remember, consider giving this video a like. Subscribe for more stories that reach beyond the surface. Share it with someone who still believes in asking ancient questions, because the past still speaks. The question is, are we listening?